So last year we did our first big, legit offshore blue water fishing show, and it worked out so good that we were like, hey, we gotta do this every season. You know, if it's half as good as last year, it's still gonna be a great trip.
We were making 25 knots, weather was good, getting better as we go, and then all of a sudden, alarm.
Wah, wah. Here we go.
Into the engine room.
But we had a great mechanic on board.
But now we're back on track.
Yeah.
There we go! Hey! Good job. Blood in the box. What most people don't think about is these oil platforms are lit up like a city. So, I mean, you can sit out there all night.
Almost like daylight outside.
During the night,
we had another malfunction on the boat. Back in the days of pirates, having porpoises escort the boat was considered good luck.
yeah, well, I think that's full hockey because we had the Dolphins following us out, and I don't think they were very good at that.
Chasing the Sun is brought to you by Holiday Inn Resort, Panama City Beach. Humminbird, simply, clearly better. Dulce Vida Tequila. Grundy's, we are fishing. And by Pirates Cove Marina, you enjoy the Gulf, we'll take care of the rest.
All right, so last year we did our first big, legit offshore blue water fishing show.
Yeah!
Hey, this is why we ride out here and watch the sun come up. This is the little guy. Y'all look at the big one in here.
Walk back, walk back, walk back.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. Good job, dude. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. On the little plug rod. And numb forearms, dude. I can't feel my forearms. And it worked out so good that we were like, hey, we got to do this every season. So we're back today. We got Captain Jeremy Mullis. Y'all saw him last year running the Ellie B. And then we got the owner of the Ellie B, Jason Vince, which you were with us last year while we were fishing. You just kind of missed the interview part where we were talking about it because I think you were working. Somebody's got to fund this project, right? But now we're going to get back at it this year, kind of try to repeat the same thing.
Fishing in the Florida Panhandle can be difficult due to the weather conditions, lack of reports from boats being able to go, and it just worked out that we got a weather window that opened up, give us 2 to 3 days to get out to the oil rigs where we had solid reports from the week prior. So we had big hopes that we could get out and really make something happen again.
You know, I wish this was something we could just like plan way out in advance, just pick a date and schedule something, but it never works like that.
No, and the way I like to do it is we've been out there during the roughest waters and said, hey, 3 weeks from now we're going fishing on the weekend and everything's going to be perfect, which never works out. So when we get a good fishing report and good weather, I give our buddies about 24 hours notice, and then we're
if we're lucky.
If you're lucky, and then we're leaving for 3 days. And last year, somehow it just happened to be the exact same day that we went the previous year for this show.
And you know what would happen if we went ahead and scheduled that week for next year? It would never work. It'd be the roughest week of the year. So we're just gonna keep our eyes on the weather, mullet. Jason's gonna keep their eyes on the fishing report, and when the bite gets hot, that's when we're going.
Our first plan of attack is going to be yellowfin tuna, possibly big eye tuna, and if we can make either of those work out, then we might try and catch a blue marlin. It's getting a little late in the season for blue marlin consistently, but it's never too late to try.
Sometimes it just lines up, the weather dictates when we do this stuff. We got a good report, good weather report, good fishing report. So Jason called me and was like, hey dude, let's go do it.
Yeah, gave him a whole 2 days notice, and it just happened to be the exact same day as last year. So the stars are aligning.
you know, if it's half as good as last year, it's still gonna be a great trip.
Yeah.
And what's cool, I mean, we're gonna go make the same ride, fish the same rigs, because it works, right?
Yeah.
That's where the fish are at, so we're going. I didn't realize it was that far. I'm gonna go take a nap. See y'all in a minute.
So we're on a slightly different schedule than we were last year.
Like any trip out here, it's gonna revolve around bait.
We were making 25 knots, weather was good, getting better as we go, and then all of a sudden, alarm. So we're on a slightly different schedule than we were last year. We were able to leave at, as Jason was saying, an early evening departure last year, which just wasn't in the cards this year due to the weather. So it was a fairly early morning departure, which was going to allow us to try and catch some bait on our way out.
Like any trip out here, it's gonna revolve around bait. What we're gonna do right now is on our way out, we're gonna stop here at the jetties and see if we can't throw some little pompano jigs and either catch some hardtails or little small jack crevalles or something like that. Those are all baits that'll live in the live well good, and tunas like to eat them.
So this is the hardtail. This is actually what we're started off looking for. Perfect size. Yellowfin tunas, big black fans would love these things. They're a real prize bait for multiple species. All sorts of things eat them.
After trying to make a little bit of bait, and we're headed offshore towards the Fads at the spur, as we know it locally. It's where the water drops off fairly sharply, and it goes from.
I believe it goes from 600 or 700 feet down to, or maybe 800 feet down to, yeah,
quickly.
15, 1600.
Cruising out that way, we were making 25 knots. Weather was good, getting better as we go, and then all of a sudden, alarm.
Well, I'm not sure if we picked up some trash while we were running, but one of the engines started running hot, so fingers crossed it's nothing real big. We just slowed down just to take a look. Womp womp. Here we go.
Into the engine room. Time to change a raw water impeller. Not a lot of fun. Not what you want to be doing to start a trip.
But we had a great mechanic on board. I was able to get around the back of the engine. I wedged myself in between the back of the engine and put my foot on the repeller and kicked it in. So I got the mechanic award on that one. Or I feel like I did.
Well, you should.
Oh, you did. Big thanks there, boss. It's not very often you find a boat owner willing to get in the engine room with you and help out on something mechanical like that. But I was in need of a little help because I was struggling.
It was hot, man.
It was hot.
When you came out of there, you were soaked.
Yeah, no, I was on probably the edge of a little heat stroke type thing, and.
But now we're back on track.
You know,
Now we get to do my favorite thing, and I'm serious, like on these trips, I shouldn't say my favorite thing, but it really is one of them. Like, I love catching mahis, like, because to me, it reminds me of a lot of the stuff I do inshore. They jump, they're pretty, you know, put on a show.
they're
Great
beautiful fish, good to eat, and a lot of fun to catch.
Yeah.
And we pull up to the Fads, and sure enough, there they are.
Yeah.
We got a couple out of it.
Oh, I got them. Nice. Can somebody stand right here and grab the gap?
And I did try to be patient. I knew a couple of the guys on the boat had not caught a lot of them, and so I was gonna try to let them, but you know, I let them have a couple of shots, but I gave them their shot and they missed, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grab a rod.
Grab a rod.
That's it. Somebody's gotta catch them. Hey, it's nice when you try to stop and catch bait, and you got two big mahis in the cooler already. It's not a bad bait stop.
Putting some fish in the boat as we pulled up these Fads. See, there's mahi on them. Great news.
Yeah, I mean, we had a little trouble getting here. This is definitely a good feeling when you pull up and know that we didn't invest all this money and fuel for nothing. I mean, It's good to know you didn't invest all that money in fuel for nothing. Because these dolphin are here, I know we're gonna catch some of them. I may even catch the big guy.
Of course, Justin jumps on the big one.
But now, you know it's all worth it. It really is to me, like, once you get there, you break the ice and catch those first couple fish, it kind of sets
It relieves a lot of pressure.
Yep.
Yeah. What most people don't think about is these oil platforms are lit up like a city.
Almost like daylight outside.
This is when your expectations and excitement and all that are just through the roof because you go, all right, we're here. During the night,
We had another malfunction on the boat.
when we pulled up to the rig, like the sun had just set, and you know, of course, we're not just gonna like go lay down and go to sleep. We'd already caught some dolphin, that was great, and you know, we had plenty of time to fish because this is like a 24-hour fishery.
It is grind. There's
Because
somebody
it-
always up,
yeah.
and then you're fishing in shifts.
Well,
and
what most people don't think about is these oil platforms are lit up like a city. So I mean, you can sit out there all night.
Almost like daylight outside.
And immediately we fill all of our, so there's 6 tuna tubes. We get perfect size baits, fill up all the tuna tubes.
What's cool, y'all, we got these tuna tubes. So we'll catch these little blackfins and we can actually stick them head first in these tubes and it flows water over their gills nonstop.
All your tunas need to maintain a certain amount of water flow over their gills, and it's not a small amount. Their average speed is probably around 12 to 15 miles an hour at all times. And a contained live well, there's no way they can maintain that speed of water flow. So the tuna tubes force it up through their mouth and over their gills.
You know, when I went to sleep, when we went to sleep, this is when your expectations and excitement and all that are just through the roof because you go, all right, we're here.
We're going to bed earlier. We're going to be ready in the
And
morning.
we got perfect baits now. We got every bait under the sun.
The thing to not do is to talk about, you know.
Oh, and how perfect everything was last time.
It's going to be.
Like, man, I'm so excited.
How good the report is.
Yes.
And
weather's perfect. Who said the stars aligned perfectly? I think that was you.
the stars are aligning.
The stars have aligned.
There's that term again.
I'm starting to not like it.
Yeah.
And then you think about it, our last trip, it was easy. The weather was perfect. The fish bit like crazy. So we got the same weather, got the same report.
Pretty much the same crew.
Yeah, pretty much the same crew. So we start talking about how perfect and easy this is going to be. And I don't know, if you're a fisherman, like, you start talking like that.
And it's not really what you want to do.
Yeah. People
Bring-
think we're
bring a
just
little bad luck.
superstitious, but you know, sometimes superstitions come true.
Yeah, it tends to bite you more times than not.
So the stars have aligned. We're gonna get some good sleep. I'm laying in bed thinking about all these big tunas and marlin we're gonna catch in the morning. So I expected to walk out there and see this oil platform. And I get up and I walk out there and it's black dark. And I'm like looking around and I don't see the oil platform anywhere. And I think that's when you informed me. During the night,
We had another malfunction on the boat. We had an alarm go off on the starboard engine again. And this time it was something a little more well, it was a little more concerning and beyond our ability to repair. We had lost a sensor on the starboard engine that controlled the fuel injection. And the only thing you can do at that point safely is start heading home.
Never fish with a broken boat. The best call to do in that situation is to turn around, go home, and live to fight another day, which is what we decided to do. And it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
When you're 160 miles offshore.
Back in the days of pirates, having porpoises escort the boat was considered good luck.
yeah, well, I think that's full hockey because we had some dolphins following us out and I don't think they were very good luck.
It didn't seem to work out for us on this
Well,
pirate
maybe everything
cruise.
was fine while the dolphins were with us. Maybe we should have fed them or something or encouraged them to follow us the whole way out and hang out with us the whole trip. Maybe we would have had a little better luck.
Time to have a little fun with somebody that may not be paying attention.
Old bucket trick.
Old bucket trick.
Yeah. A biggin! We got a biggin! Man, I felt sorry for him because he got a workout reeling in that bucket.
I thought my arm's killing me. I got it! Oh my God!
Chasing the Sun has been brought to you by Minn Kota, Florida Water Sports. Get all you need for the water at fws.fish. Smith Optics, Panama City Inshore. These guys can fish. And by Panama City Beach, real fun beach.
Okay, folks, we're at the water's edge, ready for a safe day of fun. You made your list of required and recommended safety equipment. You brought everything with you that you're going to need for the day. First thing you want to do is make sure that you secure all that equipment. It needs to be tied to the deck somewhere. Once you get on the vessel, you want to test it a little bit. You want to move around a little bit just to understand how stable it is and how to operate it in a safe manner. Once you're out in the water a ways, if you got the time, go ahead and jump off and try to get back on again. It's a lot different, a lot more difficult than you could ever imagine trying to get on from the water. One last thing, be visible. Make sure that the clothing you selected for the day is brilliantly colored, or your vessel itself. It's important for others to see you out there. You're sitting very low in the water, and you want other members of your party to quickly identify which one is you out there on the lake.
So just because we're headed home doesn't mean we're not fishing anymore. So once the sun comes up, we set out a trolling spread, which is one of the most effective ways we catch fish while we're doing this. And it just so happens with one engine, that's the speed we make. We're at the right speed, and we've got 160 miles to go home, so why not make the best of it? And we'll put out our lures and try and catch something. And
I mean, really, we're crossing a lot of productive water, so we all have high hopes for you.
Not all is lost.
Yeah.
But it turned out that we just didn't have that much luck going our way anymore.
It was almost like somebody turned the switch off.
Very much like somebody just shut it off. We didn't really didn't have any bites.
Not a bite.
So to liven the trip up,
whose idea was it?
I think it was mine.
Was it? Okay.
Sometimes when the fishing gets a little slow, it's time to have a little fun with somebody that may have drifted off to sleep and not be paying attention.
The old bucket trick.
The old bucket trick.
Yeah. A big one! We got a big one!
You put the snap swivel instead of a lure or whatever, put it on the bucket, let the drag out, and then turn the drag up with the clicker on just a little bit and act like you got a fish hooked.
We eased in 10 knots all through the night. Woke up this morning.
Heard about a good bite on some bucket fish.
That's it. We said, hey, let's give it a shot, you know?
Yep.
So we just started trolling on the way back in, and we're not that far out. I think we're about 20 miles offshore now. Well, we did catch a dolphin this morning. So we caught a dolphin first thing, and then now we just got our second bite of the day. On the way back in, taking a little drag. It's probably one of the heavier bites we've had yet, too. If you've been around blue water fishing long enough, you've heard about it, you've been a part of it, you've been the victim of the bucket trick. Dude, when these big wahoos come up with that big bucket mouth dragging on the surface.
Captain's bumping the boat a little bit quicker, and the drag's just tearing off, so we give him what?
Oh man, he fought for a while, yeah.
I thought my arm's killing me.
Man, I felt sorry for him because he got a workout reeling in that bucket. It was kind of funny because every once in a while the bucket would start to come to the surface and we're like trying to stand in front of him like where he can't see what's going on there. No, just keep reeling, Stop, right here. I got it! Oh my gosh! I'm sorry, Dustin.
I knew that way back. I was just going.
I said, that's what, you were watching. Good job. Thank you.
We finally made it back to the dock, and glad we're safe and nothing else broke, fortunately. So that glad that the trip's over with, but
boat's broken, but we're alive.
we've got to look for the small wins sometimes. But realistically, when you look at the fish we get to throw out on the dock and we have a couple hours of cleaning,
Yeah.
it wasn't a bad trip.
And then once we start cleaning all these fish, you know, you're realizing like, this is a lot. And really at some point, I'm kind of glad we don't have more because it's a lot of work cleaning all those fish.
Yeah, cleaning and putting up tuna and taking care of it the right way, it is a lot of work.
Well, I know we're going to do this again. There's going to be a part 3 to this series.
It's got it.
And, you know, the theme has always been going when the weather's right, you know, getting that window. But I don't know how this is going to work for the third time's a charm because it's going to be tournament style. It's going to be a little more intense.
And we don't get to pick our
We
weather.
don't get to pick our weather window. And traditionally, when you sign up for one of these billfish tournaments, we've been through some rough ones.
We
Let's
have.
just say that. So we'll see how this turns out. Y'all stay tuned.